My name is Craig Root, and I live in Leavenworth, Washington, and I'm here taking my brown belt. So I have a white and blue. And I'm going to share my story of my relationship with Nia and how Nia came to me and I came to Nia. Prior to Nia, I was a typical recreational athlete, relatively competitive and self-driven, and really into fitness. So I had the typical injuries and had to stop doing what I was doing, like running. One day somebody told me that I had cellular trauma through every cell in my body. When I began walking, it was slow, so different than what I was used to. I remember outside my house when I could actually get to the little bit of the hill. My body didn't know how to go up it, which is really frightening. Worked with my physical therapist with determination, tackled that hill a little at a time. My wife and I were learning social dance together, which we love. In our health club, there was a new class called Nia. It sounded interesting. And this is when I was getting back to being able to move again. And so I went there and I asked the instructor, told her what I wanted. And she said, go get a Nia video and go home and dance in your kitchen. I did that and I really enjoyed myself. And then I went to classes. I was the token male and it was uncomfortable, especially when we were sharing emotions. But I loved it because I loved to dance. Probably about 6 months later, there was a white belt training. So I took the white belt because I want to know more. I'm always wanting to know more. I was teaching. I have a wonderful mentor, Gail Holiton, and there were two of us that were white belts, and so she was very encouraging to get us to teach. There was a song I had free danced to at home that meant a lot to me, and so I choreographed it. And I started the song. We started the class. We put our hearts in our hands. We were going to have special time with our hearts through movement. That's when my heart attack started. The feeling traveled from my back around my side and up and into around my diaphragm area. It was just a feeling. My wife came over. She's very intuitive. She knew something wasn't right. I just knew I didn't feel well. I said, I don't want to stay for this. Let's go. And I jetted down the hall. I didn't say where. And I got in the car. And my wife followed me. We ended up going to the hospital. And we were halfway there, and I remember the moment when I knew I wasn't gonna make it. But I asked not to leave. I didn't want it to be my time. I have much more to give in this life and be with my wife. EKG was fine, blood pressure was fine. And the emergency room doctor said the enzyme in my heart had showed that there's some trouble there. 95% blockage in the three main arteries. My beautiful, wonderful, amazing Nia teacher came and I had this iPod, a routine on it that she had put together called Hands. So and this is in ICU, it was 5:30 in the morning, shortly after. I put my pods in and I turned it on. I started doing Nia with my fingers and my hands. It was like this tidal wave. Debbie in our class explained how sound is a wave and how waves move things, and she said tsunami. And I just immediately, that wave was a tsunami of love, absolute love, and I was just washed with it. It wasn't until almost 2 years later I learned that my heart is turned off. I couldn't find my heart for a while, which is very disturbing, because my fall cracked me open and I became a heart-centered person, and I had to learn how to live that way, which is very difficult. And I free danced to Nia just with my feet, then my legs. I was able to move in all directions, and I loved it, and it healed me from the inside out. It wasn't about moving and walking so much a day. It was what Nia brought through the movement, the healing. I understand the self-healing that comes through Nia and the movement. I really do. I finally got good enough I could go to class, and I sat in a chair. It was really different for me because I was athletic. But it didn't take long. I was in the back of the class, and I started enjoying it. and I understood that in a chair is okay. And when it came to floor play, I loved it. I learned to do things in a chair that were amazing, and they felt so good. I cannot get that experience not on a chair. So being in a chair is wonderful. When I see people in a chair in class, I hope they're feeling the same thing I did. It's great. Through the choreography, it was so personal, and it expressed so much of, I guess, myself at the time. And I was able to express that. And eventually, I was able to present that routine in our NIA community. And that was a great joy for me to come full circle back to them. On the 1-year anniversary, we had a special NIA event in a very special place for me. It's a beautiful place that looks out onto the mountains. I think 60 to 70 people showed up, most who don't take NIA. And we had an amazing time with 4 instructors, and I instructed some. It was a wonderful reunion, introducing people to NIA and the healing that can come from it. A place to come and to continue to come back to and grow and get better. And it was a very interesting and difficult time. When things are done to the heart like that, all kinds of crazy things, at least for me, happened. And I had to get through those. And NIA helped me do that. The community in my class and NIA just showed me the way. And it was wonderful and beautiful and healed so much. And that community helped my wife. As I was laying in bed, seeing her going through this thing, I think she was having a harder time than I was. And I didn't realize really the difficulty my body had gone through at that point. But I was so grateful to see her being taken care of by all these people. And that helped my healing tremendously. As a patient, I can't tell you how much that kind of support helped me to heal, to let go of her needs and know that she was okay. I became heart-centered through my accident, through the surgery. When I had a second heart attack, which freaked everybody out, myself, but it was okay. It was small. It was those little veins that saved me. And I just had to let them go. I had to lay in bed for 4 days and experience a heart attack. And that was a very interesting experience. Went to a cardiac unit and went through a week of trying to figure out what was wrong. And there was this most beautiful woman doctor there. She came in one day and had this frank talk with me. She said, "We can't understand this. We don't know for sure. But you need to solve this yourself. You need to heal this yourself. It's all up to you. Nothing we can do." She didn't say anything else. That's it. And with my character and what I'd been through so far, I took it on. And at home, there was a book that someone gave. It was Transforming Anxiety. It's a little tiny book. It was all heart-centered. I read the first paragraph and all of a sudden realized, oh my God, it's fear. I had no idea. I lived in fear all my life. That's just the way life is. It was just present all the time. And that's been my journey ever since, is choosing love or fear in all my decisions and recognizing that sensation. I didn't understand that sensation was fear that was there all the time. And I'm so grateful for NIA because I use NIA to work through that. And hopefully I'm living more in a heart, love centered life. And that's here. I found my joy. It was beautiful. That has sustained me ever since. I can always go to that moment, that place. That's what NIA has given me. I'm going to thank NIA.